All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump in. To follow along here, I've actually gone out to our help center, and in our upgrades central location, we have a number of assets available for you to get familiar with the new release, what's available, and the intimate details behind those. So I'm really going to be going through this article right here, which is the fall release 2018 highlights. It's kind of these top 8 features that I'll go through, and then some other notable topics that may be important to you. At the bottom of this article are a couple assets that may be important to you. The first one is to download this. For example, if you want to share it with additional team members or admins in your organization, you can do that here. And then also there's this quick release reference guide. This kind of tells you what needs to be done, if anything, to enable and start using some of those new features. So those will kind of be my guiding lights for today. And if you want to, you can follow along on this article. All right. Let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is the new challenge overview page. This new overview page has been completely redesigned, as you might be able to tell from looking at it, to put a more dynamic user experience in front of the end user. So we've improved the overall experience, but also the information flow as the user navigates through this page. And as you'll notice, this is a key element of our kind of action-based design that we're moving toward going forward with not only this release, the fall release, but also future releases. Some of the things that you'll notice on this page, first up top, this new challenge banner. So the new challenge banner has an updated design. We also have a whole new array of stock images that are available to you to choose from when you're creating or editing that challenge. A new phase indicator, which you can see is short and sweet right here up at the top, as well as a new view timeline feature, which gives a snapshot of the phases and the available activities over what time they're available. This would replace potentially that How It Works page that right now, as an administrator, you're probably familiar with updating via HTML or text using the WYSIWYG or the What You See Is What You Get editor. So this is a nice way to kind of automate that and replace potentially an extra page, not only for yourself, but also for your end users to go and view. In addition, we also have a statistics bar right below here that's been redesigned and cleaned up, and a nice little visual of activity over time. In this middle section, we have a new dynamic call to action area. This is based on challenge phase activities that are predetermined based on what activities were selected in your phase. So for example, if idea posting is enabled, we will ask the end user to start entering their idea here. As they enter a new title and hit continue, it'll automatically populate that on the post idea page and just take them right over there and begin, again, populating the post idea page. If posting of ideas is not enabled, this will automatically change. For example, if it's pairwise enabled in the phase, then this will say, hey, please start participating in pairwise, and it'll have a button to go straight to the pairwise page. So in the past, as administrators, we used to sometimes move the pairwise page over to the left or send people directly to the pairwise page to help them understand what to do next. We're now calling that out front and center here on the overview page. The lowest part here is a new idea section where first and foremost, we're going to surface ideas randomly to end users based on ideas they have not rated on yet. So you can see here, I still have an idea to rate. And then also by ideas they have not viewed or not seen yet. These will all be random. So as people log out and log back in, we'll bring new ideas and surface those new ideas to the end user to try to get as many eyeballs on as many ideas as possible. One of the pieces of feedback that we've heard in previous versions is some of the leaderboards on the existing homepage create this churn process where just the top 10 ideas, i.e. the ones we're showing on those leaderboards, continue to get visibility, continue to be seen by the same people over and over and over. So of course those bubble up to the top. So we're trying to provide as much randomization as possible so that as people view or as people rate ideas, we continue to surface new ones, get those in front of them so that they can continue to, again, collaborate and view as many ideas as possible. To enable this overview page, you would navigate to the site editor. So I'll do that quickly here. So using administration, site editor, we're not going to force this page upon you. For example, if you have an existing challenge, we don't want to make a sharp change to the user experience. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to make this new page called Overview available to you. And then once you're ready to switch it over, go ahead and grab that overview page, drag it into position, and make sure you add it to the top navigation bar. Additionally, make sure that you remove your old home page from the top navigation bar, unless for some reason you want to have two home pages out there on your challenge. Once done, that's it. It'll be ready to go. There's no further configuration needed. Any questions on the challenge overview page? Terry, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk here. Feel free to mute your line or unmute your line. There's only a few of us on the phone here, so I thought that would be easier than raising your hand or asking in the Q&A section, but whatever you feel most comfortable with is absolutely fine.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All right. Doesn't sound like there are any questions yet. Let's move on to skills and interests. So we now provide users with the ability to identify their skills and interests in their profile, which does a couple things. It allows individuals to connect with like-minded colleagues or individuals, and also use the team members' capability to invite people to participate in collaborating on their idea via a specific skill or a specific interest. So let me kind of show you what that looks like. From the profile page, I have two new subtabs here, obviously called skills and interests. And as an administrator, I've preloaded some of these skills and interests or curated a list for my end users to select from. So in this example, we have a list of skills. As a user, I'm going to select which ones I want to include on my profile. I can do a similar task for interests. And now when people view my profile, obviously they'll be able to see these skills and interests. They're also searchable and reportable. And if I go out to an idea, I'll just choose an idea at random here. And I invite team members. I can now search by those skills or interests so that I can invite people based on something that they might be able to contribute. So for example, if I have a technical idea, I might invite someone with that technical acumen to participate in this idea to help build it out. As an administrator, to enable this feature, we go into admin. And then you can search for skills and interests. It's under the user management admin panel. And here you can see I've begun populating a list of skills. I can delete those using the trash can, save them obviously using the disk icon there, and I can do the same thing for interests. We have not pre-populated any of these for you. We didn't want to make that assumption, but what we did do is we've created a short list and a long list of potential skills and interests, and those are available in the Help Center. If you go out there and look at that skills and interests article, you can see both the short list and the long list. We've created those actually from mining LinkedIn data, so they are, typically relevant and hopefully useful if you don't know where to get started. I'll pause here for a second. Are there any questions on skills or interests? All right, well, naturally, we'll move on to the user profile. You may have noticed when I went into the profile, a lot has changed here. So this entire page has been recreated and really locked down so that we can provide a very consistent experience across the instance. So the first thing I should note, excuse me, is this is now, the profile is now going to be the same across the entire instance. So it's not going to vary by community or by challenge and challenge. There are 3 sections now. You can see here that we are on the About section. This is where you have the normal details and activities of this individual. I'll go through achievements and endorsements here in a second. Personal information, depending on your profile, it will include any attributes that you decide to include here, as well as any roles for this particular community or challenge, and the last login date. Skills and interests are located here as well. On the activity section, this is going to be all of my ideas and activity around my particular ideas. And you can see here we've kind of cleaned up and redesigned some of the widgets. And then social is going to show any of the individuals or ideas that we are following, people that are following us, and any teams that we are a part of. There are some additional changes that have been placed instead of in the profile in a new settings menu right here underneath the avatar dropdown. And just to bring us up to speed with other applications that you might be familiar with, we've kind of relocated the 3 primary settings that get changed most often, like change password, how often would you like to be notified, and what is the local language you want to see this particular site displayed in. So these 3 have kind of been pulled out of the profile and put into this settings section again, just to bring it up to web standards. Any questions on the profile redesign? It is important to note that this page, now that we've completely redesigned it, has been locked down. So you can't put custom widgets on here anymore. If you had created some kind of custom profile or where you had added some particular widgets for whatever reason, those are no longer available in the new profile. All right, doesn't look like there are any questions. I'll move on naturally to these 2 new features, which you may have noticed as we started looking at the new profile. So achievements and endorsements are some new badges that we've brought back into the system. It's been a long time since we've had badges, but we're happy to bring some of these back. These are a status game dynamic, a pretty basic game dynamic that has been demonstrated to work as an intrinsic motivator for many people. And it's really just an easy way to help recognize and reward users based on key behaviors and activities that tend to drive value within your challenges. So achievements are configurable by the admin, and they're earned based on some of these within the instance, based on ideas submitted. So that would be creator. How people are voting on your comments, that would be collaborator. Naturally, as your comments get voted up, you're going to level up with this achievement. And then supporter, which is going to be the number of times you've rated or voted on an idea. So the more times you vote or rate ideas, you will earn achievement badges than supporter. We also have endorsements. Again, LinkedIn is a great analogy to compare this to. Individuals can come out to others' profile and endorse them as a citizen, as a maker, a connector, someone who networks well, helping to connect ideas and users to other ideas and users, or an all-star, just someone who's gone out of their way to help build ideas and concepts. So these are now available within the profile. And again, you would just go to, actually, I'll just show you. You'd navigate to someone's profile. So I'll just choose Andrew Jackson here. And since this is not my profile, I can endorse this individual one time per user. As a user, you can receive as many endorsements as possible as long as they're from unique users. So to use this new feature, go into administration and notice I've just been using this search button up here. Just start typing in achievements. It's under the user management panel. And here you can choose to enable or disable any one of these. They're going to be off by default, so you do need to opt into these first as an administrator, and then obviously the users will begin using them. You can modify the number of activities that need to occur before someone levels up. So we've populated them based on, we've averaged, I think it was something like 50 client instances to try to figure out what type of normal behaviors we're seeing and populated those as a starting point, but you can continue to modify those based on your own activity levels. And then endorsements can be configured, turned on or off down here. Hopefully that's pretty straightforward, but I will pause here to see if there are any questions on achievements or endorsements. All right. The next feature I wanted to talk about was specific to a use case. Many of our clients now are entertaining the idea of some kind of question and answer challenge or a Q&A or you ask, you answer. This is very common in like a Reddit type forum or a Ask Me Anything or a Stack Exchange or Stack Overflow forum. And it's a great way to have like an always on challenge where the crowd kind of maintains it and administers it themselves. So it's very low maintenance and it's pretty simple to set up. You just go into administration and under idea settings, we now have a new button down here, a new toggle called Q&A community. Once you've enabled that, within the comment thread of any idea, oh, let me choose an idea that actually has comments on it. You can see here we've got a new check mark and an X. So you can accept these ideas as an administrator or an idea owner, or you can reject these ideas. And once you've marked them as accepted, you can now begin to filter and just show the accepted comments, i.e. answers. Pretty straightforward. I'm not going to boil the ocean here, but again, this is a common use case a lot of our clients are starting to use. So we've introduced just a simple feature to help facilitate that so that anytime someone can come in and say, hey, here's a question that I have. Once they have the appropriate answer, they can mark it and then only show those answers so you don't have to sort through all those long lists of comments. Any questions on that feature? All right. The next one then I want to share with you quickly is there are two new pages on a community. That's a non-challenge community. So I've navigated out to a community here. And, oh, no, I sure haven't. Let me navigate out to a community here. And you can see here, this is the new app homepage. We've changed the tile layout. So we're now displaying 3 challenges in this vertical format with a vertical scroll. To load more, you simply click here and 3 more will load. We didn't want to overwhelm the audience, so we're showing 3 at a time. And you can see here that we've placed the timer right on the front of the tile. In addition, the phase ending first or the challenge ending first will be displayed at the top. And then the ones that we have more time to complete will be down lower in the process. This way, the most urgent call to action will always be at the top. And any always on activities would be lower in the list. Additionally, if we set a timer now for any challenge for more than 2 years, it will automatically change to an always-on environment, and remove all of the timers and timelines from all the pages so that you don't have to remove those yourself. Once you set it out for 2 years, I'm just going to remove all the time elements and mark that as an always-on challenge for you. The other new page is the site challenges page. So it's kind of redundant. So I'm understanding that a lot of clients are not going to be using both of these, but this is the challenges page. You can see it's very similar to the app home page. There's just not the new trending and activity widgets on the bottom. So we found that usually you have one or the other, but I just wanted to let you know those have both been updated. And if you've hidden either the app home or the site challenges pages, those will become visible when your site's upgraded. So an action here is, if you are using a non-challenge community, make sure that you navigate out to that and hide either the app home or the site challenges page if you didn't want to use those for whatever reason. If you're already using those and they're already available on your site, then they'll be automatically updated and there's no changes needed. Any questions on app home or site challenges? I should also mention previously challenge titles were being cut off and descriptions were being truncated. That has now been fixed. And the activity widgets and trending widgets, I'll show you here very quickly. These two widgets have been redesigned to fit the new look and feel of the page. We received some feedback previously that they weren't completely fitting the new format of the updated page. All right, I'll keep moving on. Again, interrupt me if you have any questions. Next, I wanted to talk about comparable ideas. So we now have a machine learning capability or NLP, natural language processing capability within Spigot, and it's called Comparable Ideas. This algorithm provides kind of a whole new approach to how idea concepts are identified, surfaced to you and to moderators, and then offered for some kind of consolidation. So let me show you kind of what that looks like here. So here I'm on an idea page. And as I scroll down on this idea page, we can see there's a new option, two of them actually, one called Comparable Ideas and one called Consolidate Ideas. And I'll go through each of these. So Comparable Ideas replaces the Similar Ideas widget. And instead of just looking at keywords and matching titles based on one or two words, it actually builds these noun phrases. So it looks at the context of sentences and paragraphs, builds these phrases and puts them into a library, and then compares them based on the similar phrases. So this is a good starting point for us to start building that library, begin teaching the algorithm, and understanding what type of ideas are being compared and consolidated. So within this challenge, Comparable Ideas will be available on all of the idea pages. It'll be populated as those comparable ideas begin getting matched. And also, we can now use this Consolidate Ideas feature to look at any of the comparable ideas that have been identified and then consolidate those ideas. So in the past, we had a feature called Merge or Combine. The Consolidate Ideas is now going to replace that Merge and Combine. And we can look at all ideas as well, or we can look at comparable ideas. And once we've selected these ideas, we can add a note. Hit save. And these two ideas will now be closed. And the parent idea will now include consolidation details with links to those ideas that have been consolidated into it. So you don't need to paste that hyperlink anymore or send people a note to say, hey, this was merged or combined with this other idea and here's the link. Obviously, the communication is still important. People get passionate about their ideas, and we want to make sure that we are giving them a chance to differentiate their ideas before we consolidate them. But once you consolidate them, a lot of that administration and manual effort's taken care of using this new consolidate feature, so that the hyperlinks are embedded right into the idea and people can understand kind of the audit trail of what's happening with these ideas.
So I have a question.
Sure.
So when you're consolidating them as opposed to merging them like you were before, you're able to then keep track of the history so you know who put in the ideas that fed that parent idea now?
That's right. Yeah, in the past, when you use merge, that used to be a manual effort where you'd have to type it in the comments thread or the close node as an administrator. Now that's that audit trail, if you will, is going to be automatically captured for us.
Awesome. Because sometimes we have an idea that's like building on another idea, so we want to be able to capture both. That's a great idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for the question. What other questions do you guys have about comparable ideas or consolidation? I'll just add a note. This is kind of step one as we introduce additional NLP, natural language processing algorithms into the platform. They'll continue to get more robust and build upon it. But this first iteration is something that, again, really we're the only company doing, and we're just curious to see how it gets used, how useful it is. I was actually talking with Gareth Bradley, our VP of product, this morning, and talking about what iteration 2 and 3 might look like. But for now, this is kind of our starting point. Are there any other questions on this feature? Okay. You may have noticed on this idea, let me close out the consolidation details here. So you may have noticed that on these idea pages, we still have a light box, and you can enable that by, oops, sorry, I got out to a different page here. Let me jump over here. If you hover over an idea tile, we can now perform a quick view, which will pop up the light box. Or if you click on the anywhere else on the tile or the title itself, it'll take you actually to the idea page. We know that light box pop-up was frustrating some users, so we've made it kind of optional now. Those who like it can use it. Those who don't like it can just circumvent that and go straight to the idea page. And we have completely redesigned the idea page. We've moved this into a single column layout. So we've brought the page in line with, again, that simplified spigot design that we're moving toward. We've widened the page, we've organized the widgets, and we've included a challenge drawer at the top of almost every page, the post idea page, the view ideas page, the ideas page. And so I'll just start at the top here. This challenge drawer helps kind of keep the challenge in context and the framing in context. So previously, you may have been adding an editable widget to the top of some of your pages and restating the challenge question. We've already done that for you. So again, eliminated that administrative effort, but also making sure that the challenge framing is front and center for all users. We've also consolidated all of the widgets into this single format. So you'll notice there are no more widgets over here on the right. You can still add editable widgets to this page, but we've kind of eliminated most widgets besides just the pertinent ones like comments, tasks, statistics, and of course the new comparable ideas. As they navigate through these, again, we've just redesigned all of these so that they fit the overall look and theme and format. And we have introduced, and we've introduced additional idea images when you're posting ideas. Furthermore, when you go to the post idea page itself, it will randomize the default image, so you're not going to end up with 50 of the same images. Every time someone goes to the post idea page, it will randomize it. So not only is the stock repository larger, but we've also randomized those so that it creates a nice, pretty view ideas page for you. Now, if If you're unsure what your old pages look like after an upgrade, we have archived all of the old pages. So if you navigate to the URL, instead of view idea old, so just append old to view idea right here, you can actually view the old page so that you can help communicate to your audience what's changed, what's new, what's different. We didn't want to completely reformat this page, and we know a lot of clients customize these pages, so we wanted to give you visibility to those as well. This is all articulated in the Help Center, as every one of these features are, but we did want to let you know that those are available to you to view if you need to go back and reconcile the changes. All right. If there are no questions on view ideas, just a couple other things I wanted to mention. Specifically, you may have noticed this already, but when we post ideas, we did get some feedback that it was not clear enough once you post your idea what to do next, or if your idea had actually been posted. So you can see here that we have a celebratory page, and we've shared some new actions to nudge or prompt those users to do something else. So, hey, it's now a great time to share your idea, invite team members. That will turn off if you don't have team members enabled. Or hey, you can post another idea. So again, just another way that we're incorporating kind of an action-based design into the new look and feel and kind of the overall roadmap of where Spigot's going. And this is just kind of a nice touch to help nudge people to take another action, not just to post their idea and run away. Let's see, two other things I'll talk about briefly. When you as an administrator or your users log in for the first time after an upgrade, they will receive a pop-up that just lets them know, it's like 4 or 5 things. Hey, here are some things that are new. They click through those, and then we're not going to show that to you again. There's also going to be a banner on the bottom of the page that reminds you to update those skills and interests to populate those for your end users. And once you do it, we'll just give the end user a little nudge to say, hey, your administrator has given you the option to update skills and interests. Go out, make sure you go out to your profile and update those. So there will be just a few light nudges to get those behaviors going. And something else I wanted to mention specifically for you guys as administrators, in the Manage Sites option, those of you who have maybe hundreds of challenges who have been around for a while may remember that this was temporally listed with the oldest challenges and communities at the top and the newest ones at the bottom, which meant you had to scroll down for a really long time. We've now flipped these. So the sites are now displayed in order of creation with the newest created sites at the top of the list, which is just a little nod to those administrators who have to create many, many, many communities and sites, and we're getting tired of scrolling through that list. There are a number of other updates. The release notes in their entirety are out there on the Help Center. There are many, many bug fixes. We just wouldn't have enough time to go through all of them, but those are kind of the top 8, along with a few notable topics that I wanted to let you guys know about, with the exception of the app home changes, the challenge overview, skills and interests, achievements and endorsements, and use case. All the other changes will be seamless and we'll just update in your site. With those in particular, if you remember, we went through each one of those. There will be some action required for you to opt into those, for you guys to customize those and get those ready for your end users. However, we tried to minimize the administrative effort as much as possible. So that's really what I wanted to cover today. Are there any other questions? We'll be running these office hour sessions every week. So if you haven't upgraded yet, or if you have questions later, of course, you can always ask our support team. You can always ask your CS team member, but just keep in mind, I'll be running these every week as well. It's really an open forum for you guys to come in, get some experience with the platform, see what the changes are, prepare for any potential changes. I know it means sometimes you have to update your communication plan or your internal presentations, your own demo sites. So we're trying to do as much as we can to get you prepared for that with this release. Feel free to join us over the next 4 or 5 sessions, if that makes sense, or engage with us through the chat feature, whatever's easiest for you. Otherwise, if there are no other questions, I hope you guys have a great day. Matt, Terry, thanks for joining. Definitely appreciate the time.
Thank you.
My pleasure.